Hello, this is Lauren Bryan, Natasha Hartvich, Danielle Sanchez, and Bree Carbajal's video. We will be explaining the concept of the break-even point. We'll give you a few examples, and we'll tell you how you will be able to calculate the break-even point. I hope you enjoy our video. Thank you. Hey you over there, listen up. What's up?
Yeah.
I want to tell you about the concept of the break-even point. The break-even point? Why does that sound so lame? It's not lame. A company's break-even point is the point at which their total sales covers the amount of their expenses. This is when a company sells enough units to cover its expenses without making a profit or incurring a loss. Expenses involve fixed and variable costs. Fixed and variable cost expenses together are called mixed expenses.
Okay, go.
Whoa, that actually sounds kind of cool. Why don't you tell me more? The fixed expense is an expense that is the same regardless of how many units are being produced. Fixed expenses, such as rent, for example, on the building where Volcom manufactures skateboards, will not change if sales increases or decreases. So like if Volcom were to produce 100 more skateboards, the fixed cost would stay the same. Wicked! Exactly. Now, variable cost is an expense that changes in direct proportion depending on how many units are being produced. So if sales increases, variable expense will increase, and if sales decreases, then variable expenses will decrease.
Okay, go.
Okay, so what's an example of that?
Yeah.
So if it costs Volcom $20 to make one skateboard, then it would cost them $40 to make two skateboards.
Go.
Oh, right on. So like if they made it 10 skateboards, the variable cost would be like $200. Precisely. The break-even point is helpful in many ways. It can tell you the maximum amount of profit that can be reached. It can show you the change in profits should product prices be changed. It can also tell you what your losses will be if your company takes a downfall.
Okay, go.
Wow, that sure sounds like something I would want to know if I were managing a company. Absolutely. Now, one of the major parts of finding the break-even point is the contribution margin.
Go.
What's a contribution margin?
Go.
Well, I'll tell you. The contribution margin is what is left over once you subtract the variable expenses from your sales. It's supposed to cover the amount of fixed expenses and profit.
Go.
Well, that's cool and all, but what does that have to do with finding the break-even point? There are a couple of ways to find the break-even point. For example, there's the equation method. In this method, you will set sales equal to variable expenses plus fixed expenses plus profit. So if your sales per unit is $25, your variable expense per unit is $15, and your fixed expense is $80, then your equation would look like this. 25x equals 15x plus 80. Then you just solve for x. It's pretty simple. But if you want an easier way to solve, you could do it by using the formula method. To find the break-even sales units using the formula method, you would divide the contribution margin per unit by your fixed cost. To find the break-even sales dollars, you would divide your contribution margin ratio by your fixed cost. So your break-even sales units is different than your break-even sales dollars, but both help you to understand where your company needs to be in order to break even. Wow! This has been the raddest explanation ever. Thanks, lady. I'm gonna go start my own company.